All right. This is the GM's Dice. Thanks for coming back. And this is session 2 of Making My Escape. And we have Ray here playing Varanus. Do you want to reintroduce your character one more time?
Sure. Like I said, I'm Ray. So we're coming over from the Tides of Change Facebook group. And like I said, I'm playing Varanus, a Southern Nikto. He just made his escape from Pasado the Hut to only find out he escaped into the hands of Pasado. And they are now the ship he is now employed on instead of staying back on Nalhutta doing repairs. He's now assigned to a ship, the Wayfarer, and they have been given a job and heading into what is formerly known as Alderaan to meet somebody.
Okay, so you guys, at the end of the last session, you had just jumped into hyperspace and were heading for what is the area of space that is now known as the Graveyard. It was once the Alderaan planetary system. And you guys drop out of hyperspace, and immediately when you drop out of hyperspace, you are in the midst of a massive asteroid field. I mean, this is what's left of a planet when it's blown up. There's just massive rocks the size of star destroyers, some of them small enough to be the size of mouse droids, floating all over the place. So you immediately drop out of hyperspace, and Doran immediately puts the ship into not evasive maneuvers, but puts it into some fairly steep maneuvers to try and make his way through this field of debris. And as you guys fly through it, you begin picking up the signal of the ship that you were supposed to come and meet, and somehow or another get Basato's cargo back off of. Would you make me a computers check? You were manning the computers last time. I'm assuming you're going to do the same this time.
Yeah, I'd be up there helping Doran out.
Okay. Would you make me a computers check with a average difficulty? All right. You immediately, when your radar and all starts to ping that there's another ship in this region, you immediately picked up that it is the ship that you're looking for. But the thing that pops out the most towards you is that it's broadcasting an Imperial signal, and that immediately makes you very nervous, and you take 2 strain.
All right.
That's what your threat's going to be for this one. So, as you're clicking away at the computer, Doran kind of looks over at you over his shoulder. He says, "So what do we got there? Is it out there?"
Well, it looks like we found our ship, but it's not looking good for us. I don't know how much info Pasado may have given you prior to us leaving, but apparently this cargo has been already picked up by Imperials.
Well, she told us that it had already been taken by someone else, but she never told us that. But go figure, I have to give you part of the information, but not all of it.
So it's going to be a little more difficult than what we thought. It's not going to be a quick snatch and grab, that's for sure.
Well, let's see how close we can get without being seen. See what we can learn from visuals. How's that sound?
Yeah, let's see what we can find out. Maybe we can just come up with an idea on how to go about this the best way. Take us in a little closer. See if we can get a visual of what we're up against.
All right. Would you, let's see here, roll a piloting for Doran? That's going to be 2 green and 1 yellow versus 2 purple.
All right.
All right. You are able to get in closer without being seen. Would you like to tell me what kind of advantage you gain from this?
Let's see.
You can always pass it off for a boost or make one of my next rolls harder. It's up to you.
I think we're gonna give them a setback on trying to pick us up as we're trying to scope out what we're up against.
All right.
So maybe we're like hidden behind some debris. So if they do try to hit us with radar, it'll be harder to distinguish us from, some of the asteroids and stuff floating around.
Okay. Well, Doran and you guys sitting at the consoles, he very easily keeps some of the larger chunks of asteroids in between you and where the signal is coming from on radar. And as you guys round this one massive chunk of asteroid, you can see a Lambda class Imperial transport shuttle. And you can see that it doesn't look all that good for wear. Looks pretty beat up. And there you can also see floating around in space around it some other debris that doesn't look to be asteroids. Do you want to try and figure out what it is, or?
Yes, I was going to actually ask if we had picked up if there was any other ship present. So I guess we'll do another.
You can do another computers check. Average difficulty. Okay.
All right.
Again, you fairly easily able to tell with the ship scans that this added debris is what's left of a couple of TIE fighters that were probably escorts, is what you're figuring. And also, along with further scans, you're able to figure out that there is another ship in the area, and its signature is very weak. But that's your threat. You're able to pick up that there's another ship in the area.
All right. Well, it looks like what could have been the escorts are gone. It'll make it a little bit easier. But we may have something else lurking out there. Let's see. How should we go about this? Let's try. Doran, I remember you saying something about the looks of your ship being kind of deceptive. What do you say we try using your little trick of letting them thinking we're under distress and needing help?
Well, it's always worth a try, but they look like they're in just about as beat up shape as my ship is made to look like. But we can give it a try, see if they're still capable of rendering assistance. And he then
I guess we could just.
What?
So I guess we could just try and see if they need assistance. I don't know. You spent more time out here than I have. I've been on the planet my whole life. How do you think we should go about this?
This is, well, in a situation like this, he says, I usually just hit the ship and take what I want. But this being your first time out, and you're not all that big of a fighter, says we could try other ways, but they don't look like they're in any shape to be giving anyone any assistance. So we're probably better off just doing a flyby on them and seeing if we can hook up and just take what we need from them, if they've even still got it.
All right, yeah, let's try that. Like I said, you're doing what I do, that's for sure.
Okay. Another planetary check on average difficulty again. Planetary piloting, so that's 2 green and 1 yellow. I would give setback, but he's got a skill that takes away 2 setbacks. So,
yeah. So success and 2 advantage.
All right. Yeah, you are easily able to get flown in around him and see that the ship is indeed dead in space. It's just floating there. What other kind of advantages can you think of that you would have gotten from it?
Let's see.
And remember, you can be as creative as you want.
Man. Let's Actually, I'm gonna recover some. No, that was his roll. Never mind.
Well, you made
If I
the
could
roll.
recover a strain.
I'll let you recover instead of 2 strain. I'll let you recover 1.
Knowing that it's floating there instead of.
Yeah, you relax a little bit when you. Yeah, I'll allow that one instead of 2 strain that you recover for each one. Though I'll just say we'll just go with 1 because it wasn't your roll.
Yeah. All right. Let's have. I guess we'll try to hail their ship and see if anybody responds.
All right. So you hail the ship, and you get back static. You hear a click along with the static. So I mean, it's sort of like somebody's trying to pick up on the other end, like they're trying to answer your hail, but there's nothing coming back.
All right. So we're gonna have to board to get our cargo then?
Well, they don't carry it on their underbelly in Lambda class. It's more than likely in the back crew cabin, which is right off of their port loading or their port airlock.
All right, let's have Doran bring us in, and then I guess myself and Bruiser in the lead.
Okay.
Head over and I'll scope out their ship and see how bad it is, and he can take care of any resistance.
Okay. And he's easily able to get maneuvered in next to this ship that's just floating dead in space and get the airlocks hooked up. And there's the shutter throughout your ship as the airlocks clasp onto each other, and then you hear the audible just as the ventral tube that or umbilical tube that connects both ships becomes pressurized. And Bruiser is there and waiting for you at the airlock, waiting to go in, and he just kind of looks over at you and nods and grunts, just sort of and pats this big old blaster rifle that he's carrying.
All right. All right, Bruiser, let's do this. You stay between me and whatever's left of them, and I'll find the cargo and see what else we can take off this ship that I might be able to, modify or add to ours if we need it.
Okay. So the airlock opens. Bruiser steps through. You step through right in behind him. And as you're crossing the umbilical and making your way into the next ship, you see two stormtroopers as the other ship's airlock door opens. There's two stormtroopers standing there with their E-11 blasters raised and leveled, and there looks to be an officer standing behind them. And the officer says, "Are you the ship that was just trying to hail us?"
We were noticed you were in need of some assistance. I'm a fairly skilled mechanic. We thought we might see if you needed some help and if I can get you on your way.
Well, unless you can replace our engines here in space, there's not much you can do for us. We were attacked about an hour ago and they knocked out both of our engines. One of them's completely destroyed. The other, it's just inoperable. We don't have the parts to repair it. Not on ship.
Do you have any escorts other than what's left out there around?
No, we had the two escorts, and what minimal weaponry we had on the shuttle here, we were able to hold our own for the most part. When they tried to board us, but we were able to fend them off. Lost the lives of a couple of good troopers, but kept our cargo. But they'll likely be back.
There's no, I mean, you're kind of out in the middle of nowhere. No, you're not making any jumps with those TIE fighters there. So there's no other, if I get your radios working, is there anyone that'd be able to come out and pick you up, or you kind of on your own?
We're supposed to meet the Star Destroyer Achilles here in 2 days' time. We're a little ahead of schedule.
All right, well, I can, if you allow us to board, I'll see what I can do for you. And what was that? What attacked you? Did you get a good look at them? What kind of ship it was, or?
He says there was two ships. There was a YT-2000 and a Rebellion X-Wing.
Those rebels always stirring up trouble. Can't go anywhere nowadays.
The Rebellion is becoming more and more of a pain.
So like I said, if you'd allow us, we're more than happy to come aboard and help you out and see what I can do for you.
He kind of looks you over, and then he looks over Bruiser, and go ahead and make me you can go with charm or coercion. Trying to talk him into letting the two of you on his ship.
Go with coercion.
All right, it's going to be a hard difficulty, though. Oh, sorry. Reroll that.
That's better.
That's a lot better. He grants it. He says he kind of backs up, or he starts to back up away from the airlock, and as he does, he taps both the troopers that are standing there on the shoulder, and each one of them, kind of like an old Western sort of saloon door, each one of them kind of turns outward and let you in between them and onto the ship.
And I say as I'm walking past, oh, he's twice as scarier as he looks. He's a big teddy bear. He does all the heavy lifting for me.
And Bruiser just kind of looks at you. He's kind of a half smile and typical grunt because, like we said last time, Bruiser has no tongue, so he can no longer speak. So he just half smile and.
So, how many? You said you lost a couple of troopers. Is this all that's left? You have any more guys around? You guys need any medical aid or?
This is unfortunately the few that we lost. They're gone. It wasn't that they were just injured, and I mean they were kill shots here in the airlock. But there's a few more of us left. The pilot's still in the cockpit, and there's 2 more in the crew bay and the cargo bay.
All right. As we make our way, it's like, all right. Well, let's take a look at your comms. I'll see what I can do with that first, and as we're walking there, I'm gonna kind of look around for the cargo and see if there's anything else kind of standing out that we should be wary of.
Okay. He steps back a couple more steps and he pushes open a small little hatch type door and kind of puts his hand up to say, go ahead and go on in. And when he pushes open the door, you can see the cockpit of the shuttle on the other side. And you see another trooper in all black, typical pilot's uniform, and sitting there. And as you step through the door and the officer steps through right behind you, he says, "Don't worry, Ray." He says, "This guy's here. He's going to help us fix our communications, or he's going to attempt to." And the pilot just kind of looks back over his shoulder and he kind of gives a quick nod, and he sits back in his seat and he puts one of his hands down kind of like next to the seat, in between the seat and a bit of console, and just sits there watching.
I'm going to go take a look at their comms.
Okay. Go ahead and make me a mechanics check, average difficulty. Yeah, you're able to tell right off the bat that their console is fried. This thing isn't going anywhere anytime soon. It's not something that somebody can just bring you apart. This thing's going to have to sit in dry dock for probably close to a month to be completely rewired. Every wire in this console is like fused. It's just a big hunk of melted rubber and melted silver wiring.
All right. Did the troopers that were escorting or at the umbilical, did they follow with us, or are they still there?
They're still in the airlock with Bruiser.
Okay, Bruiser's back there.
Now, Bruiser, I'm imagining, seeing how you said he's kind of your bodyguard and there for the heavy lifting, I'm imagining he's probably got a larger toolbox other than maybe the little toolkit you're carrying. Mm-hmm. So there could be a reason that you could call him. But yeah, he's still in the airlock.
Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna call him up. I'm gonna tell him that yeah, I think I might be able to fix this. I don't have what I need. I'm gonna need my partner to bring the big box of tools, and I think I got some spare parts in there that I can wire something up. You'd be able to at least, you may not get full video and comm, but you could probably send a signal to your Star Destroyer you're supposed to be meeting over here. So if I can have him come up, I might be able to get this working for you.
Yeah, with your successful charm earlier, he's fully in your hands. He's putty. He looks at you and he just All right, yeah. And he leans over to the door and he points out at Bruiser and he says, your partner, he needs you in here. He needs that toolbox. And Bruiser, I mean, he's got to duck and kind of step sideways to get through the hatch. So he's twice the size of your average Weequay.
All right. And then would you like a mechanic check? Because I'm going to, if I can, I'm going to cross some wires and get the door to the cockpit to close. So it's just the four of us in there.
Okay, yeah. It's going to be a hard difficulty check because, like I said, the console is pretty well useless. But you might be able to get a surge of power to shut the door. So yeah, you can make a mechanics with a hard. Holy shit! Yeah, the door slams shut, but when it does, like every console in the cockpit starts sparking and arcing and all this. But the door slams shut. What do you do next? I'm gonna give you a surprise round.
All right. Like, oh man, that was not what I wanted to do. Hold on, I can get this fixed. And then I signal Bruiser, and he takes the giant toolbox and clocks the officer upside the head. If possible.
Okay, yeah. He makes a nice brawl check to slam the. Or would that be? No, we'll go with brawl. It's not technically a weapon, so improvised weapons I think are under brawl. So yeah, we'll make that a brawl check, which is 3 green versus 1 purple because this is a very enclosed space of a cockpit that you 4 are standing. Oh yeah.
Okay. Right, there we go.
So that's bronze 3. All right, so that's 5 damage, and the officer soaks. Okay, so all right, so yeah, he slams he kind of lifts the toolbox up like he's gonna hand it out to you, and just swings his arm out to the right real quick and real hard and slams the officer in the face with it. Go ahead and tell me what kind of advantage you get out of that.
I want him to have a setback on his next attack since he kind of got knocked loopy a little bit.
Okay, so their next check has 2 setbacks because we still haven't used that one from earlier. Okay. So that's his for the surprise round. Yours was all verbal, so it's all incidentals. So you can still try and maneuver and try and attack or anything that you want to do. Because there's still also the pilot sitting here. Okay, hold on. All right, better? We back? No? We there?
All right, there it is.
Okay. I think I may wind up needing a new headset. All right, but yeah, he slams the officer. Your talking, getting him in here and all that, and kind of giving him the signal was all incidental. So you still have your maneuver and your attack if you want.
All right.
There is still a pilot sitting here.
I will. I'm gonna grab hold of the pilot and use my my shock gloves on him.
Okay.
Brawl.
1 difficulty because you're in engaged range.
All right.
All right. So
where'd it go?
that's whatever the damage is plus 1.
3 plus 1, so 4.
4. All right. That's the pilot. He also. Okay. Now I would like everybody to roll cool. So let's see.
Do mine real quick.
And I got cool for these guys.
All right. That's a good roll.
2 advantage.
And what is Bruiser's cool?
Okay, and Bruiser's cool is 2 green. All right. So they're all tied up in there. So we'll go with player first. So either you or Bruiser can go, and then you got both the NPC, both the Imperials, and then the other one of you.
All right, I'm gonna reach down and grab a wrench, and then swing at the pilot again.
Okay. Still 1 difficulty.
You want that a brawl or a melee?
Improvised weapon. We'll go with brawl.
Okay. All right.
All right.
3 damage, I guess.
3 damage plus your brawn.
So 6. Damn.
All right. Yeah, that actually kills the pilot. Tell me how you kill your pilot, or not your pilot, but the pilot.
So like I said, as I was sitting down there by the console after Bruiser hit the officer with the toolbox, I grabbed hold of the pilot and gave him a quick zap. And while he was stunned, grabbed the wrench and hit him upside the head. And you could hear the helmet kind of crack. And then he just kind of slumps forward in the cockpit, in the pilot seat.
Alrighty. All right, so that takes care of one of them. So that leaves the officer. All right, the officer, he, after getting slammed in the face from Bruiser with the toolbox, he's sort of reeled back, got a hand over his face, just, oh, son of a... And he kind of, with the other hand, he slams a fist into the door, and he's, get your asses in here, we're being killed. And he reaches for the pistol on his hip and tries to duck around Bruiser to where he can kind of get in around behind him. So that uses his his maneuver and his action to pull his weapon. So now it is Bruiser's turn. Bruiser, still with toolbox in hand, kind of spins around to slam this toolbox into this officer and try to kind of like pin him between the toolbox and the wall type of thing. So another brawl check, please. 3 green. And we're going to convert those setbacks, seeing how they haven't made any checks, into boosts.
All right.
So you can either take 2 boosts or 1. We can use them both now, or you can split them up.
Go ahead and use 1 now.
All right. With the
Got nothing.
officer's sort of fancy footwork to duck around Bruiser, and Bruiser having to spin around to hit him, uh, instead of being your one difficulty for the brawl, it'll be two. So it'll be 3 green, 2 purple, 1 blue. All right. And that's again improvise. That's 2 plus Bruiser's brawn. Bruiser's got 4, so that's 6. That's all right. Bruiser, as he spins around to slam this officer, catches the officer right in the head, perfect aim with this big old heavy box, and just like he was trying to do, kind of pins the officer between the box and the wall. And when it makes contact, there's kind of a thud, and then a crack. Like there's the thud of his head hitting the box, and then box and head hitting wall, and then skull cracking, and he drops limp to the floor.
All right.
And you are hearing beating on the door as these 2 troopers are trying to make their way in.
All right. I tell Bruiser to get in whatever position he finds most advantageous, whether he wants to be in front of the doorway when I open it to take a shot, or if he wants to be at the side and wait for him to kind of come in. And then I'm going to get ready to send power back to the door to open it.
Okay. So Bruiser kind of steps back in between the 2 pilot seats where you were initially standing after zapping and clubbing the pilot. And he pulls his blaster rifle back off of his back and raises it leveled at the door.
All right. I'm gonna do what I did before: cross some wires, send some power back to the door, and get it to pop open. And then as soon as they open, Bruiser can fire. You want me to make a check for that, or?
Yeah, you're gonna have to with all the sparks and all that overloading that happened last time. It'll be a mechanics versus a daunting difficulty, which is 4.
All right.
So versus 4 purple. You rolled a boost in there.
Sorry.
Well, you can keep it for this one. You only used 1 on your last one. You can keep it, or you can re-roll it and save it for later.
Yeah, we'll just keep it since I did well on that. So I forgot that was on there.
Okay. All right. So you said you're gonna keep it on there?
Yeah, let's keep it on there, I guess.
All right. So you're able to push a little bit of extra, last little bit of juice out of this thing, and the door clicks open. What kind of advantage do you get?
So I want the, like I said, Bruiser to kind of get that surprise round and be able to get a shot off on him.
All right, I'll give you the surprise round.
And then I have give me time to get my holdout blaster drawn.
Okay. So a surprise round, you surge enough energy, enough power through the console and door that the door clicks open. As they're pounding on the door, it all of a sudden flies open and catches them completely off guard. And Bruiser is able to fire a round at him. And his gunnery is, let's see, he has got 2 yellow and 1 green.
All right.
Versus 2 purple. Oh, he fails, but advantage. Okay, so he misses hitting anybody, but what kind of advantage do you get from it?
So like I said, He was a little fast on the trigger, so he ends up hitting the door as it's opening instead of the troopers. But they weren't prepared for the door to open or to be greeted by a hail of rifle bolts either. So they dived to the sides of the door to take cover,
Okay.
giving us an opportunity to come out towards them instead.
All right. Yeah. We'll say one of them keeps a cool enough head that he actually just like stacks up next to the door. But the other one, who was actually the one in the lead who the door popped open on, he completely panics and just dives for the floor. So he's prone on the floor. And it is still your turn in the surprise round.
I'm going to what can I do? I'm gonna tell him to I'm gonna yell out to him. You know, you've already lost 2 comrades. Your pilot's down, and your officer in charge of the ship is down as well now. We own this ship. Give up. We'll leave you here to live. And when you're when the was it Achilles arrives, you'll be able to join your brothers again. Otherwise, you will die this day.
And the trooper who's stacked up on the door, or at least you assume it's him because it's a voice that sounds kind of confident, not a voice that sounds like it just panicked. He says, "There's 2 of you and 4 of us. We still have you outnumbered."
So be it. I'm going to. I guess that's it. Got my blaster. Can't really see him. It was. What did that do? Yeah, I guess that's it for my turn. I can't see him really, so.
Okay. But you pull your holdout blaster and all, so you're ready for next round.
Got it drawn and ready for the next round. So.
Okay. Go ahead and let's roll cools again.
Nothing. Nil for me. Success advantage for Bruiser.
Okay. And advantage and an advantage. All right. So it's the same as last time. You've got you or Bruiser, then both of them, and then whoever didn't go first.
All right. So Bruiser's first. He's gonna.
Okay. Bruiser, he on the as the stormtrooper starts boasting that you're outnumbered and there's still 4 of them. He just kind of smiles and swells up sort of a bit and takes the 3 large footsteps that it takes to cross this small little cockpit and steps right through the door out into the airlock with these 2 troopers and attempts to blast the one right that's stacked up at the door as he steps through. So if you wouldn't mind making me another heavy gunnery, which was 2 yellow and 1 green, versus 2, because he's kind of got to squeeze through the doorway to get out into the. Again, he manages to miss, but there's advantage out of it. What kind of advantage do you pull from it?
All right. Doran hears all the commotion now.
Okay.
Takes are these the two from the airlock or the cargo hold?
These are the two that are in the airlock.
Okay. So he's gonna head towards the airlock and see what's going on. That way we'll be able to have a flanking attack here.
All right, so Doran hears everything and starts heading for the airlock. He'll be here next round. So that's now it's the two stormtroopers' turns. The one who's standing there, who just as Bruiser steps through the doorway and fires, he just barely gets his head out of the way in time as the blaster bolt nails the wall, and he fires his E11 blaster, which is, let's see. All right, so it's 2 green, 1 yellow, and that's going to be 2 purple. And he hits Bruiser pretty badly too. So it's 11. Bruiser's got a soak of 5. So that's still. All right. So Bruiser gets a blaster bolt right in the shoulder, and it kind of spins him around and back plants him on the door that leads into the cargo hold. And when his back slams into that door, the framing of it kind of where the latch is, it cracks and like the door bows for their advantage. So then the other one that is on the floor, he doesn't even he's still on the ground. He just kind of rolls from being prone on his belly to laying on his back, and he also fires at Bruiser. His difficulty goes up by 1 though, and he gets a success, which is just an even 9. So it's 4 more taken off, so it's 5, 4. All right, and he catches Bruiser right in the abdomen, and Bruiser goes down onto drops onto his knees, and when this stormtrooper, when he fires, like he fires, and all sorts of sparks come from his blaster when he fires. His blaster is shot. It malfunctions. It's not going to work any longer. So now it is on to you.
I'm going to move into a position I can see the one that was stacked at the door and take a couple shots at him, or take a shot at him with my holdout blaster.
Okay. Do you move through the doorway or just up to the doorway where you can get a shot?
Kind of up to the doorway where I can get a shot, where I still kind of have cover from the other one, but I can see him.
Okay. That will actually, because he's still like stacked up right at the edge of the door, so that would put you into engaged range, which would make your a 1 difficulty. All right. 3 advantages. In my home games, if there's no success rolled with 3 advantages, I let the player decide if they want to pull out some type of advantage or if they want to make that a success.
Let's make it a success.
Okay. So you shoot the stormtrooper that's at the door with your holdout. What kind of damage do you do to him?
5 damage.
5? Okay, that's what I thought. 5 of this. All right. He soaks that 5 damage.
Damn.
So you shoot him, and it just kind of leaves a burn mark in his shoulder of his stormtrooper armor. But this round is where Doran shows up in the umbilical cord and sees all of this going on and sees Bruiser fall to his knees, getting shot up, and he takes a pot shot with his heavy blaster at, let's see, he doesn't have, yeah, I was right, it's heavy blaster. Okay, so holdout blaster, sorry. He pulls out both his holdout blasters and he starts to fire. So if his first one hits, I get to roll for the second one. So that is ranged light. That's 2 green, 1 yellow, and he's got 2 purple. That is 1 massive hit. So that's 6 plus 5, so that's 11. All right, so minus the 5 mats, that would still leave 6. All right, so he shoots and he hits one of the stormtroopers right in the stormtrooper you shot in the shoulder. As he turns to look at you, Doran shoots that stormtrooper right in the back of the head, and he just tips over forward and kind of falls through the doorway towards you. And you see this smoking hole in the back of his bucket. And Doran's 1 pistol, let's see, with the 2 threats. He's going to get set back on his next attack. So his next attack, because he's got 2 pistols, he trains and aims at the one on the ground. That's... He's switching targets, that bumps up difficulty, plus his setback. So he manages to also hit the guy on the floor. That deals 9, so minus. And he shoots the guy on the floor, and he catches him right in the neck seal of his armor. And the stormtrooper on the ground, he shrieks out in pain and drops his fried blaster and grabs at his throat. And Doran, when he shoots this guy, his blaster, it sparks and all that, and it locks up, and it's toast also. So he drops one of his blasters right there in the umbilical. And takes off in to see how Bruiser's doing. What happens next?
I guess we'll go into the or have the 2 in the cargo hold. Did they?
Yeah, the
stay in there. Are they making their way towards
the airlock of the Lambda class shuttle is kind of like the neck of the shuttle. Like the loading dock and all that is to your right when you're standing in it. Like you come in from the side of the ship, and standing in the umbilical there's a door on your right and a door on your left directly across from each other. One goes in, the right goes into the cargo hold, the left goes into the cockpit. So they're still back in the loading dock. More than likely having heard all of the commotion.
All right, let's Can I grab that E11 that does work?
Yeah. Yep. It's just a blaster rifle, damage 9, crit 3, range long.
All right. Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and take that.
Okay.
Since my holdout blaster seems inadequate against these guys.
Yeah, stormtrooper armor's fairly tough.
All right, so I'm gonna pick that up and kind of look it over real quick, and then go check on Bruiser and see if he's ready to move into the cargo hold.
Bruiser, he's pretty well beat up. I mean, he lost over half of his hit points, but he with the help of Doran, he stands back up to his full height, kind of on shaky knees. But he gives you both kind of a nod and a grunt, and as best he can, kind of takes a step off to the side and raises his blaster to point at the door.
All right, we're gonna move into the cargo area then.
Okay. The door seems to be at this point jammed shut from when Bruiser was knocked back into it from the first shot that he took.
All right.
So like you can't just reach down and hit the pad and open it. The door seems to be warped and wedged into its frame.
What other type of equipment does Doran or Bruiser have with them?
Well, you've got your toolkit and the large toolbox, but other than that, they don't carry tools. I mean, they carry weapons.
Yeah, I'll see if I can maybe break it free with what we have in the box. Maybe there's a large, something like a large crowbar or something in there.
Okay. We'll give it to you. And I just realized that we forgot to roll for your destiny points. So if you want, you can roll one white die.
All right, do that real quick.
All right, you got one light side point. Okay. So you can use that at any point to either give me a setback or give you a boost, or to say that you've all of a sudden got something that you may need. But a crowbar is something that would very likely be in your toolbox. So we'll say that there is a crowbar there, and that will give a boost die to anybody who is trying to pry open the door. So do you want to try and pry open the door, or do you want Doran or Bruiser to try and pry open the door?
We'll see. I'll give it to Bruiser.
Okay.
I'll ask him if he's feeling up to. If he's got enough strength in him to try and pop this door open.
And he just sort of non-ceremoniously, his blaster is on a sling, so he just kind of lets it go, and it drops and just kind of slings down and from his shoulder, and he grunts and just, and puts his hand out and takes the crowbar from you, and steps forward to start prying at this door. He steps forward and jams one end of it into the buckled section next to the door jamb, the door lock, and begins to pry. So that's going to be a brawn check of 4 green with difficulty of 2. Or no, difficulty of 3, and he gets 1 boost die. So 3 green, 1 blue, 2 purple, 3 purple.
All right.
All right. So he jams this thing in there, and like he pulls on it at first, and the door creaks and groans, and it's not going anywhere yet. And all of a sudden, he just lunges forward on it, and all of a sudden, this door, like it just as if it was working the way it was supposed to, just all of a sudden just sucks into the wall, and it slides open like it should, and he actually goes stumbling forward towards the umbilical because he wasn't expecting it to come open that easily. And that leaves you and Doran standing in front of this door and looking back into a transport hold or cargo hold that each side of it is lined with 10 seats. In the middle is a stack of 6 fairly large crates, look like they take 2 people to carry, and there's a cylindrical tube that is standing on end behind the crates, but it looks like it's got a transparent side, but that transparent side is sort of turned away from you, so you can't see what's inside of it. And kneeling beside and sort of behind the crates are 2 more stormtroopers.
All right, and tell Bruiser to cover us from here, and then we'll go take care of these guys and figure out what this cargo is.
Okay. Let's see. All right. I want you guys to all roll cool again. Just.
All right. Mine is success.
Okay.
Bruiser is 3 success.
All right.
And then what is
Doran's cool is 2 green.
Green as well.
All right. So he's up there. And then I got to roll for the 2 stormtroopers. There's 1. And there is 2. All right. So it is all 3 of you guys and then the 2 of them. So who do you want to go first?
I'll go first. Can I see? Are the stormtroopers kind of behind the crates? Are they kind of
they're.
beside?
If you think of a loaded pallet with crates on it, they're kneeled down, sort of at one at each back corner. So at the corners farthest away from you. So like they're half covered, half not.
So to get a good line of sight, I'd have to kind of come out at an angle.
Yeah, from where you're at, you would have to step in and either to the left or to the right to get a good clear shot at either one of them.
All right, I'm gonna go into towards the right.
Okay.
And fire at that one with the E11.
Okay, so you step in and step to the right. So that's let's see, that's going to be short range. All right, so it's average difficulty for your, and it's a blaster rifle, so that would be heavy ranged attack.
Yeah, I miss.
Nilled out. Yeah, you fire and you hit one of the crates that is. I mean, you just another inch further to the right, and you'd caught this trooper right in the face.
And then you hear Doran yell, "Hey, watch the merchandise! That's our payday right there."
You beat me to it. But yeah, Doran hollers at you, is watch your aim, just as he steps in and steps to the left and fires with his last holdout. It just makes sense that Doran would go next, unless you want Bruiser to go next.
No, Doran's fine.
Okay. Sorry to cut you in there. And that's 2 green, 1 yellow, 2 purple. All right, so he hits that one, and that's 7 damage. That's 6. All right, so he catches one of the troopers right in the right shoulder, and he kind of he lowers his aim for a moment and like grabs at his shoulder, but having fun playing there.
I was trying to flip it. I didn't know how to do that. Sorry.
You
on my side.
click on the actual coin itself, not the plus or minus.
Okay. There we go.
So yeah, he steps around and fires at him, and he catches him right in the shoulder, and then Bruiser comes charging / sort of stumbling into the room. What do you want him to do?
Just kind of get into a position that he can maybe take a shot and kind of hang back and let us kind of move up since he's already been hurt so much.
Okay, so he kind of steps into the doorway and leans on the door frame and goes ahead and just fires from there. And let's see, that's going to be, let's see, I'll make his, so that was 2 yellow, 1 green. He gets the 2 purple, but he also gets a setback for being in the doorway. All right, he manages to hit. Which one do you want him to have fired at? Right or left?
We'll say
you're looking at them.
We'll say left.
All right, so he shoots the same one that Doran had shot, and seeing how about the only thing that's visible from his vantage point would be rednecks in their trucks. But he, from his vantage point, about the only thing he can see is the stormtrooper's head. So he fires and catches the stormtrooper again in the side of the head, and leaves a big old scorch mark on the side of the stormtrooper's helmet. And as the stormtrooper drops from his kneeling position down onto the floor dead, his helmet is actually turned from being forward to completely sideways, to where like it looks like he's looking directly off his left shoulder, but it's just the helmet that's spun, and this stormtrooper is laying dead now. And he picks up a strain from doing all this as he's so badly wounded. And that falls around to the other stormtrooper who's left. And the stormtrooper, he looks over, and just as his partner gets shot dead, and he looks back at the door towards Bruiser, looks at each one of you, and he puts his hands up. As I surrender.
Doran will shoot him. He is a pirate and all, so.
All right, so Doran fires. Let's see, so that's... and you know what? Because he's not fighting anymore, I'm going to say that Doran just walks up like he's going to put him in, use his binders and put him in them. And as he reaches out to grab the stormtrooper's hands to kind of wrench him down behind his back, as the first hand comes down and around, he gets a blaster to the back of the head, and he just slumps forward onto the ground. And Doran kind of looks at you and smiles. He says, "Now for our payday. The only problem is, which one of these is the cargo we're supposed to pick up?"
What are you
Or is it
doing? He
all
said
of
he
it?
surrendered.
They've seen who we are. They can't. We can't leave any witnesses.
We could have taken him.
And done what with him?
I don't know. You just murdered him. The other guys, yeah, that was self-defense. But come on, I don't know if I'm cut out for this pirate life.
He says, "Well, technically, he's not the first one I murdered today. The first two weren't firing at me."
All right, let's figure out what Posada wants. That other blip we picked up on the sensors earlier. There's rebels in the area. That's what did what you see around us. So the sooner we get out of here, probably the better.
Yeah, more than likely. He says if they left without taking what's here, he says they will be back. I said, but what do we take?
Do you have room for all of it?
So yeah, definitely. Got an empty cargo hold. The Wayfarer is made to carry plenty of cargo.
Because I figure once we figure out what Posada wants, the rest we could probably. I'm sure you know people we can sell it to.
Oh yeah, definitely. So you guys start
contracts.
So do you guys start searching through the crates and stuff?
Yeah, let's see what they have on here. If it's worth moving to the Wayfarer.
Okay. Well, all of the crates that are on the pallet that are all stacked up there in the middle of the floor, all of the crates have an Imperial symbol on them, and the tube that was standing up with its back towards the front of the ship that you couldn't see inside of. As you move around and start checking, you see that this tube is a cryo tube. And you see that it's a full cryo tube. Inside is a Zabrak female in a cryo hibernation.
Hey, Doran, what do you make of this?
He steps back and he starts kind of looking over the container and all, and he looks at her and he says, "Well, looks to me like it's a woman who's sleeping." He says, "There's all sorts of reasons people get put in these things. Some of them have illnesses that can't be treated where they're at, and they die before they could get to treatment. Others do it when they're going on a long haul. There's multiple reasons someone could be put in one of these things."
I have a strange feeling this may be what Posada wants, seeing as the other crates are all marked Imperial.
It's likely.
This one.
Basato traffics a lot, and all sorts of goods, people and all sorts of them. So are we taking just this, or are we still taking everything?
Well, let's see what's in these crates. Like you said, hopefully it's something you might be able to sell.
Okay. You crack open one of the cases. Roll me a percentile die. All right. First case that you crack open, when you crack it open, it's full of bags of this sort of off-white, almost yellowish sort of powder.
Is it anything that maybe Doran's seen, and like I said, or something I've come across at the palace?
Yeah, you would. What is your? Well, No, they're yeah. You'd recognize it as days. It's not an illegal drug, but it is contraband on many planets. Like
Right.
it's not illegal in the Empire, but some planets have laws against it.
I think we can make a couple creds off of this. Well, we should definitely take everything then.
Yeah, if the rest of them are this, we could make a nice living.
So we'll check a couple more cases on the other pallets just to make sure.
Okay. Out of all the cases, there's 6 cases. 4 of them are loaded full of days. 2 of them, the other 2 are full of weapons. Full of carbine blaster rifles and heavy blaster pistols.
So I think we definitely made a good payday here. You know where we can take this stuff?
He kind of looks at you and smiles. He says, "Do Wookiees wipe their ass with leaves?"
All right, I guess we should get this loaded up. And then, I don't know, I'm still kind of weirded out about that cryo tube. I've never seen anything like that before at the palace. So you say people just for long, because they don't want to wait on a trip, they just freeze themselves in these tubes?
He says, it used to be done a lot back before hyperspace drives. People would freeze themselves in these things when they'd have to be on ship for a year or sometimes more. That way, when they finally got where they were going, they hadn't actually aged and they were still capable of doing what they needed to do. It's a rather barbaric thing to do now for that sort of thing with hyperdrives and all as they are. Most of the time when it happens now, it's because someone has some type of illness and they'll die before they get where they're going. But some people still do it just for the nostalgia of it, and others, from what I've heard, do it for the euphoria feeling you get, or you supposedly get when you come out of the cryo hibernation. But I've never done it, so that's all hearsay.
Interesting. Well, who do you think she is? What do you think? Why do you think she's in that thing?
And he just kind of looks at you and he gives you that sort of dumbfounded look. And he says, "I wasn't paid to figure out who she was or why she's in it. So I was just I'm being paid to get her or that stuff or whichever back to Basato.
So
I don't care why she's in it."
They've been having this conversation over the course of moving everything over to the ship.
Yeah.
So they, after they get everything loaded up, I'm going to take one last look around the ship, see if there's anything I might be able to salvage for future repairs or, I should have did that. I should have took that. Oh, yeah. So I want to see if I can find any odds and ends.
Oh yeah, there's all sorts of stuff here that you could snatch. I mean, the engines on this thing aren't the same engines on the Wayfarer, but a lot of small parts are interchangeable type of thing. Or if they're not necessarily interchangeable, you think you could probably make them work. So there's quite a few things that you could snatch up and grab.
Yeah, I'm gonna grab, like I said, some capacitors and like some small electric boards and things that I can try to salvage.
Okay.
And also, if possible, I want to try and rig the ship to explode after we leave. that way in case, if and when the rebels come back, or when the Achilles shows up, it looks like it was destroyed along with the TIE fighters.
Okay, do you voice that desire to Doran, or is it one of those things that you just do while you're looking for parts to salvage?
I'm going to try to do it just while I'm looking for parts to salvage.
Okay. Yeah, well, make me a mechanics check, average. All right, yeah. You easily find like a small shopping cart's worth of random parts and stuff like that you could take from this ship to your ship, and you find some extra ordnance that you could is easily rigged up to be made into a delayed explosive.
All right, so I'm going to do that, and as I board back over to the Wayfarer, we're bringing the umbilical back and everything. I tell Doran he might want to hurry up and get the ship moving.
And he just kind of looks at you. He says, I might want to hurry, huh? You were back there an awful long time. And as he's saying this, his hands and all this are a blur of motion as he's getting everything ready. And before, like just as you're getting ready to sit down, he leans up and he slams the throttle on the thing forward, and the ship lurches forward, and it like forces you to sit down real quick as he's punched it to get the ship away from this one as quick as possible. You want to make me a computers check? Average difficulty. Okay. Even with the advantage, we're going to say that if you don't mind, I'll narrate this one real quick.
Mm-hmm.
You're able to tell that the signal that you picked up earlier as being out by being here in the system is still there. It hasn't gotten any closer, but the signal has gotten stronger. So whatever it is, if it was the factor that they were making repairs or whatever it is, it kind of gives you the feeling that it doesn't register this way on the computer, but it kind of gives you the feeling that they're powering up type of thing.
All right.
Like that's the thought or the feeling you get from seeing this stronger signal. Like maybe they were running on limited power before to kind of try and mask who or what they were, and now they're not, type of thing.
All right.
And so you guys punch it, and Doran's bringing the Wayfarer through all this asteroid field and all that's left of Alderaan. And just as you start to clear the asteroid field, you can see a YT-2000 and 3 X-Wings that are kind of floating there in geosynchronous orbit with one of these large asteroids.
All right. Do we visually see them then, or are they on the radar?
You can actually visibly see them.
All right.
They're still at long range, but you can visibly see the four dots. There's one larger than the other three, but you recognize instantly what these things are. I mean, they're not so far away that they're just little pinprick dots out in the distance, but they're not so close that you can make out panels or anything like that. But you can easily tell what these things are. You've worked on these types of ships before.
I point them out to Doran. I don't know. I think we have trouble. I think those were our rebel friends that took care of the ties and disabled that Lambda for us. You may want to. We may need to get out of here sooner than we thought. And at that time, the shuttle explodes.
Okay. So yeah, as you say, it's time that we should probably make our way out of here sooner than later. The Lambda shuttle behind you explodes and sends a few of the asteroids sort of rolling in your direction. And Doran, he kind of looks at you. He says, "Well, if it's time to get out of here, you better start plotting astrogations."
All right.
All right. So you successfully plot your course. What kind of advantage do you want to get out of it?
I want to try to mask our actual route. That way, in case they try to follow us, it's a little bit difficult. It's going to be a little bit harder for them.
All right. Yeah. So, just as you plot the astrogations and get everything ready to jump into hyperspace, you send out a sort of a not really a full-blown signal, but sort of a blip of jamming signal just as you hit the hyperdrive, and it was just enough to keep anybody from actually being able to plot your course from your jump window. And you guys jump out of system before these guys even have a chance to get powered up and come after you. But as and it's a nearly a week-long trip from the Alderaan system back across the galaxy to Nal Hutta. And about 2 days into the trip, make me a computers check with a daunting difficulty, so 4, because you're in hyperspace. Okay, failure. So I'll tell you your failure. I'll get that all set up and started here, and then you can tell me your advantage.
All right.
The whole time you're going through hyperspace, you've constantly got to make computer checks and all this to make sure that you're staying on course and all that. During one such check, though, you happen to miss the factor that you're passing by a dying sun, a dying star, and you're just randomly happen to be hit by a solar flare from the sun while you're in hyperspace, and it pulls you out of hyperspace, and you're dead in the water or dead in space. like your engines, everything. Like you've still got life support and all that stuff still working, but your engines are completely offline. What is your advantage?
Let's see. I managed to let's see. Is it electronic failure causing it, or the engine's damaged?
It's electronic.
All right. I find some computer boards that I salvaged off the Lambda that I can kind of repair and get things as close to operational as possible.
Okay. As you're rummaging through all the stuff that you found on the other ship to see if there was anything in there that would work, and just as you find a couple of circuit boards that will replace one that is burnt out, a loud klaxon starts blaring through the ship.
All right. Doran, what's going on? What's that sound for?
He starts flipping through different screens on his different screens on his screen in front of him, and as he's flipping through trying to figure out everything that's wrong and what's going on, he figures out that the klaxons are going on because this star that you guys, sun that is right here, is about ready to go supernova. It's about ready to implode or explode, and the immense amounts of radiation that it's putting off are soon going to be penetrating the hull and affecting you guys if you're not able to get things fixed and get out of here quickly.
All right. So I grab my tools and the parts and get to work.
Okay. This will be done in 2 steps, 2 different mechanics checks.
All right.
Your first one is going to be a daunting check again, so 4.
All right.
All right. You are capable of figuring out that exactly which circuit board it is that is fried here in your console, but you also figure out that there is a part malfunction back on one of the engines. That's your threat.
All right.
So let's see, you got 2 extra successes on there. So we'll say instead of taking a half hour or more to get the panel fixed, you're able to get the panel, the control panel there in the cockpit fixed in about 15 minutes.
All right.
And the klaxon is still going off every time he tries to shut it off. Like, it goes off, but within just a couple of seconds, it's coming back. It's on again. Like the radiation outside is mounting. It's nearly through the hull type of thing, and it's very, very much so deadly amounts of radiation. So you head back to the engine compartment, and you do have a part on board. It's the piece that fried, that shorted out, is a fairly common need to fix. It's a piece that shorts out quite a bit. So there is an extra one on board ship.
Okay.
So instead of a daunting, it's just going to be a hard difficulty check. Or no, let's go. Oh no, never mind. We'll stick with that one. We'll stick with that. That's nice. So you are able to get it fixed. You take another point of strain from the stress of having to get all this done, and with the klaxon going off. Tell me what your triumph gains you. This is something where you can completely alter how this is going.
The solar flare also damaged the cryo tube, so she is thawing out.
Okay, if that's what you want to do, I'll allow it. But that seems to me to be more of a despair rather than a triumph. I mean, I'll allow it completely if that's how you want it to be. It seems to be more of a despair than a triumph.
All right. Well, I thought because I've done the triumphs kind of changed the story a little bit.
Well, the triumphs can change the story, and I mean, I'll allow you to change it any way you want. But most of the time, when triumphs are used, they're used to change the story to your benefit. Now, I mean, if you can tell me what type of benefit you would get out of this woman thawing out, then by all means, go for it. Like I said, I'll allow it if that's the way you want it to be. But usually, it's some type of change that will give you a nice bonus or boost.
All right. Let's see. Yeah, let's stick with that.
Okay.
It'd be more interesting than, oh, the engine's fired up and we got out of there before.
All right. So with all that's going on, the solar flare, when it caused the power surge through the ship and knocked and fried the one circuit board and fried out the part on the engine, it also sent a surge throughout other systems, which fried the cryo tube, and your passenger is now thawing out. I'm going to add to it into the factor that you think you're probably close enough to home that you can get there before she wakes. And you've got you've fixed the engines, you've fixed your board. Now you can make re-enter astigations and try to finish your jump home.
All right.
Or not necessarily home, but back to Basato.
4. And difficulty?
Hard.
Hard.
A threat. All right. You enter astragations, and he Doran hits the big red button that would jump you into hyperspace, and you hear the engines wind up. You're as hyperdrive does not kick in. And another klaxon. This one's not an actual noise alarm, but you've got klaxons going off on your screens, showing that your hyperdrive is offline.
All right. And we'll head back and look at the hyperdrive, I guess. See if I can get that up and running.
All right. Make me a hard difficulty with 1 setback.
Is that a mechanics check still?
Yes. Yeah.
All right. I actually could ignore the setback.
Okay.
Due to a one of my talents, Gearhead.
Okay.
There it is again. All right.
Another 2 triumphs. That's That's nice. All right. You go back and you. It's one of the simplest things in the world. It's just simply one of the connectors on here. You either forgot to reconnect it, or it got bumped as you were cleaning up and getting out of here and came unconnected. It's just a matter of a connector that's not connected properly.
All right. So,
But the threat is the factor that the klaxon that's been going off stops going off, and now there's a different one going off, and that is you recognize that as a radiation warning. You are now being affected by radiation.
all right.
It has made its way through the hull.
So let's see. Try. Yes.
Yeah, you get. Sorry. Narrate and tell me what you get out of this triumph.
Oh man.
Let's upgrade the target upgrade now. Let's check. Do something vital such as.
Man. I got nothing. What all can you do with them again?
A triumph, you can use them. Let's see. You can upgrade the difficulty of the targeted character's next check. Upgrade any allied character's next check, including the current active character. You can do something vital, such as shooting out the controls to the nearby blast doors to seal them shut. You could say that when you're back there fixing the hyperdrive, you're able to squeeze a little more juice out of it to where you could cut another day or so off of your hyperdrive trip. There are all sorts of stuff. Use your imagination, get creative.
I'm just gonna say it's kind of boring, I guess, but I'll just upgrade the astrogation check for when I set in our hyperdrive coordinates again. That way, I have a better chance of not failing this time, so we can get away from this star before we become nothing.
All right. So go ahead and make me another astrogations check. Still
increases it from a ability to proficiency, correct? 1 dice.
Yes.
And still a hard.
Yes, still hard. Oh, failure. But you get a triumph along with it. All right. I'm going to say this time, if you don't mind, that when you put in your astrogations on, and it goes in, and you jump into hyperspace, but unbeknownst to you, the computer, even though you put in the right astrogations, it reads them wrong and it's taking you somewhere else. But I think this is going to be a good spot to end for the night.
All right.
And you're able the threat is going to be the factor that you guys you each take 5 strain due to the radiation.
All right.
like the beginnings of radiation type poisoning. You don't have radiation poisoning, but like it's the onset. So you get the tired and the fatigue and the nausea and all that from it. But that's it at the moment.
Cool. All right.
But yeah, I'll say we'll say the failure is the factor that you don't head to Basato, but that's unknown to you. The threat is the factor that you take some radiation poisoning, and the triumph is the factor that you do actually still make it into hyperdrive or hyperspace.
Cool. Sounds good.
All right. And sounds like a decent place to end for the week for us. That's everything that I had thought out as far as I've thought ahead. And we'll see you next week, guys. Hope you show back up to see how this turns out.